So then I said, wrecked him, darn near killed him.
By the way, I hit record there a couple seconds early. That probably, I'll edit that out. Don't worry it out.
Yeah, that's all right. We can edit that out.
Guys, I'm here with Mr. Newcomb. How's everybody doing out there? Mr. Newcomb, thanks for being here. How's everything going?
Mr. P, thanks for having me, man. I feel honored that I'm like making it to PTV here, or the real PTV.
Yeah, well, I appreciate you being here. I miss seeing you, and I'm sure the students miss you too.
I miss you so bad it hurts sometimes. I just
really?
want to put that out there.
I wouldn't say it hurts, but I'd say it's an uncomfortableness, more like, you know. It's an ache. I ache.
You yearn.
I yearn. That's a Seinfeld.
Is it?
Yeah. Or no, it's I'm thinking of, it is a Seinfeld, but they say to quone. It's the one where they're playing Scrabble, and I think Kramer tries to get one over on Jerry. He uses the word quone. And Jerry said, you don't even know what that word means. Use it in a sentence. He says, I quone you. I quone you. Anyway, what did you have for dinner last night?
Oh, for dinner last night. Last night was our, it was the night where everybody was not in the mood. Nobody was in the mood to cook. So instead of ordering out, because my wife had to go back to work today for like one day, they're rotating through. She's taking Mondays, you know, whatever, they're cycling through. So we promised we'd order out tonight. So we ended up making spaghetti and meatballs because
it's Sunday, baby. That was Sunday dinner.
And we ate on the deck, which was nice. You know,
yeah,
it was
beautiful
nice.
day.
People were walking by. It was good. It was nice.
Good for you.
Yeah.
I've walked by your house numerous times just hoping to be invited in, but nobody ever sees me.
Well, I mean, if you make a little noise, cough or something, my friend.
I'm gonna start throwing stones at the window.
Now we're talking.
People may not realize we live relatively close to each other, certainly within walking distance.
Easily within walking distance.
And because of Zoom, I feel like you might as well be in another country right now.
It does feel like that, doesn't it? Like we're just kind of all, you know.
Yeah, it does. Disconnected. But you didn't ask me what I had for dinner.
I was about to get to it. What did you have?
I also had pasta. We had a ziti with fried eggplant and a salad. It was very good.
That sounds delicious.
Yeah. Early on in this coronavirus thing, I give credit where it's due. Mrs. P made a few trays of ziti and froze one.
There it is.
So we've just been, surviving.
Well, I mean, if you're surviving on ziti, that you could do worse.
Yeah, that's true.
Better than surviving on Chef Boyardee.
I haven't had a piece of fruit in 6 weeks, right? But
I bought 5 pears last week. I have 5 pears still.
Yeah, I mean, it's more for show.
Right. I'm going.
That's what you keep in the basket. You keep it in the basket in case people see it.
Hiding, it's
right.
Yeah.
So, listen, the world wants to know how Mr. Newcomb spends quarantine.
Ooh. Okay. It's probably not. It's not nearly as exciting as you think.
I would beg to differ on that.
No. I will say this: I have spent a lot of time kind of catching up on the movies that I wanted to watch. That I just, I haven't watched. Mr. Miller, he and I were texting at the beginning of this whole quarantine, and he said something. He could tell in one of the conversations we were having. I was just very amped up, and he actually sent me a text. It was a group text. He sent me a text afterwards. And said, "You need to calm down. You haven't," and he said this, "You haven't slowed down in 16 years. I have. This is the first season in 16 years where I haven't been coaching out on the field. We're still posting workouts. We're meeting with athletes, all the rest of it. But I'm not at a track meet on a Saturday morning at 7 a.m.
I hadn't thought about that.
And this is the first time, literally, in 15, 16 years where I've been at home for extended periods of time.
What's that like, having that change?
It's well, here's where I was going with this. I wasn't trying to self-promote there.
Naturally.
I'm catching up. I'm thinking a lot, like a lot of introspection. And anybody who knows me knows that the more I think inside my own head, that's bad.
That's the worst. Good. Being alone with your own thoughts?
No. I mean, I'm someone who, when I look in the mirror, I don't like anything. So just to be there, it's good. No,
So what do you give me an example of a movie you've watched that you said you hadn't had time to watch
okay.
one?
I had a fellow coach from another district. He and I were talking, and Mr. Geyer, some of you guys may know the Geyer family. He recommended Master and Commander.
Oh, wow.
It just never made it into my cycle, you know.
Right.
And, so I watched it, and it's really, really good. Well, what I'm doing also is going on Amazon because obviously we have just all this disposable income, and buying any Blu-ray that's $10 or less.
Right.
That's not helping either. But the best part of it is that I'm integrating new quotes into my repertoire. So.
Is there any quote you'd like to share? I don't want to put you on the spot.
From Master and Commander?
It could be that or anything.
Well, listen, the one I actually used this quote in a conversation with someone. I can't talk about the details of the conversation. I will grind whatever grist the mill requires.
Oh,
right.
That's powerful. What movie is that from?
That's from Master Commander.
That's Master and Commander.
That's getting used in a soccer game.
Okay.
Like for sure.
You got to start making a list. It's right up there. All right, fair enough. Master and Commander is based on a book.
Yes, which I actually have downloaded, and I'm going to start now. I was waiting to see what the news would be about school, and in light of today's announcement, I've downloaded it, and I'm going to start it. So, yeah, because it's a 20-book series or something.
Yeah, it's a long series. Yeah, I haven't read any of them either.
I'm like guys on boats. I'm like,
but I've heard, they're super like a guys series of adventure on the high sea. Yeah, I thought and who's the main actor? I'm blanking.
Russell Crowe and
Russell Crowe.
Yeah, there's a few other well-knowns in it, but yeah,
okay.
It good stuff. So that's basically it. I've been filling a lot of the time with movies.
Okay. So, yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. What are you doing to keep what's your routine? What's your go? I don't want your whole routine. What's
first of all, my show, but I'm going to allow the question. No problem. What have I been doing? Mainly talking to you guys. I'm trying. I'm sort of, me. I'm a yapper, and I guess part of me is doing this just to sort of stay connected and sane. Try to feel like things are normal in a world where nothing is normal anymore. So that's a big part of it. And then obviously, 5 children. Mm-hmm. So it's a nut house.
Yeah, that's a lot of children.
It's 5 kids of, making sure kids are fed and bathed and get their schoolwork done. I mean, even before we got on camera right now, I was getting things situated. And for those watching, we're recording around 1:00 in the afternoon. And so I'm getting my kids lunch, and it's like I sit down and it's something out of a movie. You hear, "Dad, can you get me, I need another napkin. Dad, can you get me a glass of water?" And so
you're making stuff up.
It's just, what have I been doing? I'm an errand boy. I've become a chauffeur. Well, not a chauffeur, but a maid and cook and all these things. I'm Mr. Mom. That's what I am.
Stop. You are a major domo. All right.
Thank you. I'll take that as a compliment.
Okay, that was nice.
But you left a little nugget there, a little bombshell a minute ago about just minutes ago. It's been announced that New Jersey schools are not going to reopen.
Yeah. So
what are your thoughts?
Reference, right? It's I mean that's I don't want to say I'm glad that I was the show where this happened, but it really kind of leaves you thinking. I have to tell you, as much as I think we were all kind of at this point going, you know what, we're not going back. We see New York, we saw Pennsylvania and Virginia, whole Eastern Seaboard closing down, with the exception of Florida. I think on some level, it's, even though none of us are surprised. I don't think kids will necessarily believe how sad we are about. You know what I mean? Like, I get that they're suffering. I truly do. I cannot imagine what these seniors are going through. I'll pick a kid, Aiden Anderson, right? He's graduating from high school this year. His older sister graduating from college this year. His younger sister graduating from 8th grade this year. That family's getting robbed of a really fundamental, cool experience.
They're also getting robbed of all the graduation presents.
the only light at the end of
I
the tunnel.
mean, maybe we should share their address if people want to write a check.
I mean, they can certainly write checks to here's the only thing. It's the joke I've been saying. Hey guys, since when have you ever had a parent willing to fund a college road trip? You know,
Yeah.
you have a marker with your parents now. They owe you. So you know,
it's so strange.
It stinks, Mr. P. I have to tell you, all kidding aside. Like I'm torn up about it. I really am. Between my own wanting to see them, especially as a senior teacher, you deal with seniors a lot. I think the senior teachers we get to see these guys as they're finishing up, and we don't get that now. You know?
One of the great joys of being a teacher, I talk about this all the time, is especially at the high school level, to be honest with you, is there's an element of Groundhog Day about it. Every year we get to re-experience what it's like for students to go to the prom, what it's like for students to graduate, what it's like for students in high school to get their driver's license. And you start to, you can't help but look forward to those experiences for the kids that you really care about in the class.
Yeah.
And for us, we don't really know how this plays out as far as things like graduation. I mean, there could still be something of some type, but we don't know what that is. And to me, that's kind of now I'm already today in the last hour, I'm shifting my mindset to, as opposed to like, if you've seen any of my other shows, as opposed to walking kids through the experience of what do you think is going to happen and allowing them to articulate it. Now it's become, or will become, are you okay? Like, are you going to be okay? You're in the grand scheme of things. Yes, Aiden Anderson, you're not going to have your graduation party.
Right.
Knock on wood. I hope everybody in your family is safe and healthy, and you start to appreciate the things that maybe we've taken for granted up to this point.
My little aside in the middle would be to anybody who's watching this is that, yes, listen, is everybody healthy at home? Yeah.
Right.
I mean, hopefully, we don't know. I know a lot of families have been affected. Ours has been affected a little bit. Everybody's got a different situation. I mean, is everybody healthy? Are mom and dad working? Listen, are you okay in the grand scheme? Because listen, as much as this stinks, and I know it does, take this. This has been a global thing, and you can argue whether how serious it was and this and that. But at the end of the day, it's a global event that you're hopefully getting through. I mean, one of my mom's best friends from work. He was actually his mom was on the news. She was looking for like a plasma treatment up in Virtua. She passed away, and from complications due to she was on the recovery, but her lungs just. And I'm not trying to get too somber, but everybody knows somebody who's been affected by this in some way, whether it's financially, mortally, whatever. That got dark. Can we change subjects?
What else would we expect from you?
Listen. I mean, I
feel like we need to have like a part 2 of this thing when this is all over, just to get you back. I mean, you've gone so down. I got it. We're going to start doing knock jokes.
My AP class, they can attest to this. I have been like emotional. I've been saying things like it was one of our weekly meetings. I actually started, I was like, hey, listen, I love you guys. And all of a sudden somebody was like, what did he just say? And I hung up because I was still like,
I have found myself with staff and students, the other ones that I've done, it started off with me saying, I miss you. And it's quickly become, I love you. And as teachers, you have to walk that line, and we're sort of taught to be very careful about those types of things. But given the circumstances, I'm trying to, tell kids and staff that, we genuinely care about each other. I think that's one of the things that makes, and I've asked this question to other people, that's one of the things that makes our school such a special place, is our relationships. The kids know that you and I are genuine. We have genuine admiration for each other. There's love. And I think that they know that we care about them as well.
Right. I agree with you completely. I mean, listen, is there anything more Pitman than you and I just getting on and bro loving each other back and forth, while also saying, oh man, we've missed the kids, we love the kids. No, that's about as Pitman as it gets.
Yeah.
No, it's good stuff. There's good stuff happening. It's just like I said, this is the only way to describe it. This is weird, man. It's weird.
What would you say is, how's your personal learning or your classroom going? Like, how would you describe your ability to make all this work?
Listen,
Inability.
I have said this before to people. I've said that, English teachers are kind of in a good spot, right? Like we really are. Math and foreign language and things where like you have to show and tell and all the rest of it, that's tough. I don't know. I mean, gym teachers, I don't know how you do that. Other than I know Mr. Tender has been doing yoga in his Speedo various times of the day. But no. Other than that,
I'll have to look for that.
Right. Now, listen, it's good stuff. No, it's going well. I think. I'm sure maybe some kids would disagree. I don't know. But I mean,
what's been your biggest challenge?
Biggest challenge for me is I tell you, man. Like what I love about English, and I think certain subjects lend themselves to this, is just the discussion. I mean, that's anybody who knows me at all knows I actually do like being in front of the class, talking about the stuff, geeking out over a passage. Oh my God, this thing, film class, like. So much to talk about, and there's only so much you can cover in your videos and your notes and this and that. It's great to be able to stop a movie and be, did you see the thing with the thing?
Yeah.
And
and your enthusiasm for it becomes infectious to them, and that's more of a difficult thing to translate, I would think.
And that's the biggest barrier I've had, and it's a personal one. Listen, I am sure there are certain kids looking at. He just said to read the thing and write the essay. Done. They're probably loving it because I sound like Kermit the Frog.
If I could, like, if you could give any broad stroke blanket advice to students in your classes or students in general, what would you say is like something that, hey, from a teacher's perspective, I wish you guys blank? What would you say?
Here. This is actually perfect because as I'm teaching mostly seniors, guys, take this time, take this experience. This is a lesson in self-motivation, self-drive. There's no one harping on you. There's no timetables, really. Get the stuff done, hand it in, get it done. Mm-hmm. You're going to be facing that in a year. The biggest problem I had when I went to college was that there was no structure. There was no organized sports. There was no be there at this time and, So this is a great practice run in some ways for college. So
in life, people aren't always going to be standing over you, right? Saying, exactly. Don't forget.
My best work is always when there's somebody standing over me, but how often is that the case, I mean, other than Miss Machowski, like texting me all hours of the day, just going, no.
Well, she needs you too,
I'm kidding, Lauren.
She will be watching this. She will be.
No, she will be. No, she's the yin and the yang. Use this as an opportunity to self-assess how good you are at staying on task.
That's perfect. That's perfect. Yeah. Have you watched any other episodes to completion? Are you familiar with the bowls? It's bowl question time, buddy.
I am aware of the bowls. Let's do this.
Let's do it. All right. So in this bowl, questions about me. All right. You probably would do pretty well. I mean, you do but well with anything. or questions about things in the news. All right, which bowl would you like?
I swore that I was going to pick the news.
Oh, wait, actually, I screwed that up. That's what I'm giving the students. For staff, I'm giving well-known Dewey Decimal numbers. Ooh. So you have to choose from among those. My fault.
I don't know. You know what? Listen, as much as I didn't want to feed your ego, I am going to ask a Mr. P question because I don't.
That's what I would. If I was in your spot, I'd be going for this bowl myself.
Can I do a Dewey afterwards? No,
you don't want. I mean, you can. It's up to you. Do you want to pick the question, or would you rather me pick?
Here. Let me.
All right, here we go. Okay.
There you go.
All right, perfect.
Thanks.
All right. So here we go. If you get this right, I'm going to buy you lunch, or waive all of your library fines, or it used to be if we go back to school, we're going to have a pizza party. I guess that's gone. I'll have to buy you lunch. You can get a Happy Meal or a value meal from any of their local fast food establishments. All right. Oh boy.
You're such a tool.
You know what? This is one question. Of course you would get this question. All right. Of course you would get this question. And I just want to say, because we talked before we started that this is one shot, it is what it is, I'm going to let this question go. All right. I'm going to keep this question. Normally I'd reserve the right to put it back, but I'm going to ask it anyway. All right.
Okay, let's go.
maybe you won't get this right. During this school year, Mr. Newcomb and I went on a date. I mean, it was a date because that's what it was. We went on a date. Nothing wrong with that. And we saw a movie in the theater. Which movie did we see?
Oh, you mean the movie I just ordered on Blu-ray?
Really?
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood?
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood is correct.
Oh my God. Yes!
What a great movie. What a great night. Would you care to recount that night to the audience out there?
I think we had...
You picked me up?
No, it was our group of guys that said we were going to like do movies and no one else, everybody bailed. And you and I were just kind of going, hey man, let's do this. It was...
We shared a popcorn?
We did. It was a Saturday night. Right? I think it was a Saturday night.
I don't remember what night.
It was a weekend night. And we went to like a 10 o'clock showing or something. It was like a later showing.
Mm-hmm.
And we sat next to each other in the theater, full theater. I didn't think it was going to be as full as it was. It definitely was. And we sat there, we shared popcorn. We got some candy, you know?
Yeah.
It was, listen.
I thought you were going to call me the next day. You didn't. It's fine. You were still friends.
I was too ashamed because there was, of course, that 20-minute sequence of funny at the end of the movie.
Right.
Where I was laughing embarrassingly, so like out of control laughing.
Yeah.
And the woman next to me.
Yeah, that's right. I remember you saying
started looking over like, what's
she
wrong?
gave you a dirty look. You were the only one in a quiet theater howling with laughter at a dark comedy
scene. An appropriate thing to laugh at, but it was just funny.
Yeah. I remember, and if I could just, I'm glad you got that question. When it was over, I remember we turned to each other while the end credits were going up, and we were just blown away by how not just what a great movie it was, and I think it is a great movie. I love Quentin Tarantino, but how much fun it was that we did that. And we both sort of said, my wife signed off on us going to this. My wife signed off. We should do this more often.
Yes.
When are we going to do it again?
Listen, here we go. As soon as theaters reopen, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's a date. You and I are going to go pick your show that weekend. Okay?
All right.
It's
my choice?
Your choice.
Okay.
I'm not going to hold you to my standards, my friend.
I'm going to start looking in the listing in the paper.
Now,
remember that?
I mean, kick it to the wife, obviously, because she might just say we need to get away from these kids for
that's true
a bit. But listen,
I think at this point my wife would be okay with a double feature.
I know
what? See it twice.
I know on my side, my wife very much wants me to get out of the house.
Yes, I understand. I can relate.
Yeah. Done.
Just wrapping up here, heading on the downhill.
Mm-hmm.
What would you say is what's a quality that makes our school, Pitman High School, so special?
I hear this from alumni a lot. Alumni my age, even older, alumni who have kids in school now, and they say there's so much of it which is just it's familiar. There's familiar experiences that you maybe don't see at other schools, especially bigger schools. You know what I mean? Like the prom. The prom at Pitman is unique. For years, it was in the gymnasium.
Mm-hmm.
The promenade, senior night, all these things. I think they're just like institutions. We are
Mr. Pitman.
We are a town of traditions, and as much as I am okay with bucking tradition, because a lot of times traditions can be foolish, I think our town's got a lot of really good ones. Things that just make it very familiar. Like your brother did it, your father did it. It's neat stuff, man.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm coming up. Your kid isn't. You have a kid in the soccer program. I have a kid coming up into the soccer program. He's going to do the same senior night that I did. That's, and it's going to be the same thing. It's the same deal. There's just something special about that.
I agree. That's nicely said. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just bringing it back to me for a second.
Please do.
What would you say is the best part of being my friend? Or if you don't truly consider us friends, then my colleague?
I got to be honest. I wish I had something deeper to say. Like every time I'm over your house, you're cooking for me. It's hey, I'm gonna throw some meat in the thing, and we're gonna cook. Okay, cool. And all of a sudden, I've got bacon in front of me. That's what you do, you know.
Because I'm eating either way. I mean, I don't want to be rude. That's just me thinking of myself.
The fact that you are comfortable making me fatter, I think, is really one of the binding tenets of our.
We're going down together. We're going down with the ship together. Last question: is there anything that you would like to say to the students at Pitman High School?
All right, so I'm gonna have to look at the camera and make sure I'm actually staring.
Do you want me to like dive out of the way?
No.
You can call me back.
I want to see you tear up. So listen, kids, guys, girls, seniors in particular, we miss you. We care about you. I can't tell you how much we're hurting because of this. It's not as much as you are. I mean, but we still feel it. And I just want you to know that we are all trying to just pull for you guys to have, you know, whatever it is that we can give you, whatever it is you need, we're going to try to do, because, you know, we care about you guys, and just don't let this thing ruin what otherwise should have been a very good time in the halls of Pitman. So just, you know, remember the good stuff, as opposed to don't remember this ending on a fart.
It's, I wonder, students obviously in the senior class are hurting, I'm sure, but do you think it's something that, fast forward to the point where they're our age, will they look back and say, what a unique situation, and that's a positive? Or will there be like this sort of bittersweet aspect of it that's never going to go away?
Bittersweet. There's not a lot of good you can take out of this. I said, but here's the good news. The only good you can take out of this is if you look back in 20 years, you're our age now. You look back in 20 years and you say, you know what, listen, it stunk, but at the end of the day, I had a good time the rest of the 20 years leading up to that point, then you did okay. Because if this crushes the next 8 years of your life, then you're not living the next 8 years the way you're supposed to.
You're living in the past.
Right.
Yeah.
So don't dwell on it. Listen, you've got, regardless of whether you're going to college, the service, work, whatever, you've got a lot of really cool stuff coming up that's going to trump this experience badly. All right. So
that's good. Yeah, I appreciate that. Well, you know, I miss you. And I can't wait to give you a big hug and and make you bacon.
I want 3 seconds. I want a full 3 seconds.
Solid 3 seconds, like a one Mississippi type thing.
Count me out.
All right. But when this is over, man, you and me, we're gonna go to the movies. We got it all lined up. I can't wait.
It'll be great.
All right, Mr. Newcomb, thanks so much for doing this. It means a lot. I really appreciate it.
You good, buddy.
Be good. See ya.
Doggy.